Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome, folks, to the Hungry Gamers, back with another unboxing. Today we are unboxing the Kickstarter version of Townsfolk Tussle. Now, I say Kickstarter version, I think it's pretty much the only version, but you get the idea. And this is from Panic Roll Games right here. Now, I have taken the shrink off of this, but I haven't opened it up, so I don't know anything of what's inside. Now, I enjoyed this game quite a bit when I had the prototype of it. It is a boss battler, kind of in the same vein of a Kingdom Death Monster, though the game doesn't really play that way other than it has 10-sided dice. And, well, it's really, really nasty and hard, but it does have that same kind of vibe when you're doing each battle. However, as you're doing this, you're going to play through and fight multiple rounds, and it's really a very quick, well, not super quick, but a relatively quick game that you will finish in one sitting. The demo that I had was actually really high quality, and I enjoyed a lot, but what it didn't have were any of the minis of these really, really cool characters. So let's jump in and see what we have inside. Ooh, so right on top, we got those minis. Let's take a look. Oh, wow, and the side of the box is just stunning. And when I take some stuff out, I'll show you. Let's pull these minis out here. And let's see if we can look at the side of this box here. So as you can see, it just has this awesome artwork along the side. Just really, really cool. All right, let's put that down, slide this out of the way. And let's take a look at these minis here. All right, so there's a little space in there. Oh, wow. These are really, really cool. Now, are they the most detailed minis I've seen before? No, but, oh, these guys look pretty darn cool. Gonna show you some of these here. The sheriff. Now, this guy was one of my favorites, and that's so cool. It's kind of opened up there. Oh, so cool. And obviously it's a little hard to see because of the lights I have in here, but it's nice. It has some lovely texture on the bases, so it's not just a plain empty base. Let's look at some of our heroes here. There we go. Okay, so these are some real nice looking minis. And you know, this really kind of captures that kind of wacky, bizarre art style that the game has. Oops, let me see if I can get him back in there. There we go. Let's look at some of these others. Yeah, now this guy, I was really excited to see. They just look really cool. So these are real nice minis. Now, like I said, they're not the most detailed things we've ever seen, but these are pretty nice, and these are going to be fun to paint, I'm sure. All right, so enough of the minis. Let's move on. Well, and here's our rules and results booklet. Don't know what the results mean, but here we kind of have some of the stuff in here, everything that we have in the game. If I recall, the rules are pretty clear as we went through. There we go, all the fights. And, oh, I don't know what these are. These results things, the results. Oh, so I'm going to kind of cover this up, but depending on how you do in the final fight, you get a little bit of a result in there. That's kind of cool. So I guess depending on who it is that you fight, you get a different little story. That is something that I was not aware that they had. So that is pretty darn cool. Anyhow, that's the rule book. Now we have, ooh, I guess this is the world that we live in. Yep, and here's the town, Eureka Springs, right down here. So I guess they have a lot of other stuff planned out. And one of the best things about this game is this kind of weird art style. I don't know how you describe it, but it's kind of old-timey cartoons if old-timey cartoons were kind of gross and super violent. And now we get into all the punch boards here. So here's the first one. This is the terrain that you have as you're going through. And each terrain has a different way it operates. Here we just have a car here. And yeah, it's nice, thick punch board. Nothing you can really complain about as far as those go. They look pretty nice. I'll kind of punch out this right here because this is a fun little bit. You have your little river you have that you can put out there with your bridge over it. All right, here we have more tokens. That should be money, I believe. Little tokens. These are... Oh, this is so you don't exactly know who it is you're going to be facing. You're going to have those there. Then the different characters you have. Some more terrain here. Very nice. Again, nice thick cardboard. We have just a bunch more terrain. And again, kind of each one of these has its own way that you can interact with it. One actually was one of my favorite parts of the game. Some more terrain here. Another character. Just all the stuff that you can put out onto the board depending on what you're doing. Now here's all the standees, because you can also play with the standees. And I don't know if there was a standee-only version, or they just included all of them for the people who don't like to play with something with that. It's not painted. Oh, that's cool. I don't remember if it did this, but if you look, we have a front and a back on the standees. That is super cool. I like that a lot. Here we have the board. And I have an idea. You kind of put all the terrain that you have down there. And where we're fighting. And all the way over here, we have types of things that we are fighting. You go through 4 fights. You got to jump, then you get harder, harder. And then when you get down to the bottom here, you get to the final fight. And you put those little tokens I showed you earlier on there so you don't exactly know who you're fighting. And then you have your buying and beating order. Fighting and who gets to buy first and so on. That can change as you go through the game. All right, now this is for the town phase, and this is where you have your little peddler here that's going to come through. Is going to sell you different things as you go through. And on the back, we have for the fight phase where you're tracking the movement and the damage of the bad guys and their cards as they go through those. So it's kind of a little sideboard to the big board that I showed you. And now we have our player boards. You can kind of get an idea of the different tracks you have as you're going up and down and the abilities. And each one has their own little story on the back. And just, there's really so much that they've thought about in this game. All the different characters that you can get. And yeah, they're totally gross, but they're totally cool. Just kind of flipping through some of these here. Ah, the granny. I forgot the granny with her 6-shooter. And all those. Always have a little tray for putting stuff in there. Oh, this is for putting money in there. Here we have all the bad guys. Let's take a flip through those. So kind of the fun thing, as I mentioned, is you have each of these. You have the different bonuses that you get that they get, I should say, depending on where you fight them in the game. As you get stronger, they get a little stronger as well. But if it's the final fight, then they have, well, they always have their specific setup. So each time you fight one of them, you have your specific setup. But as you go through, get to the final fight, it gets harder and harder. And you get to the final fight, there may be different ways to win the game in the final fight versus just beat them up. You kind of see what we got here. You can also kind of flip through them. You kind of get the vibe of the art and who they are and what's going on. That Deputy Wagham's so creepy. And the lawman, I remember him being really fun to fight against. I don't know that I fought all of them, because I can't remember if all of them were in there, but it definitely was a lot of fun. And they all did feel significantly different as you played through the game. Then we have just some standee bases here. And we just have some tokens that we use to track on those boards. Nothing special, it's little wooden tokens. More standee bases. Then we have just, these are just some ways to divide up the different types of gear as you open it up. We're going to look at that in just a minute. And then here I'm assuming that this is another divider. Well, this is all the bad guys. I don't quite know what these are for, but you can kind of see those here. And again, you just get that art and that style and terrain deck. Yeah, because this is another bit of obviously this is where you're dividing out. Again, you're separating your different cards for those as well. We have a bunch of dice. Look at that. They roll. And take a look. We have your ones. And on the reverse side, you have the little kind of POW symbol. So just some unique little dice that go with this. You can see how that kind of lines up in there. So it's nice space. And then this box here, and then this little box in here is going to be just for the cards. Let's take a look. Now, the way I know that was for the cards, because it tells you cards, cards, and more cards. And here we have it. Now, kind of the neat thing is there's all this space for cards, which leads me to believe that they can obviously be sleeved, and perhaps they're already thinking about expansions as they go through. Now, I'm not going to open all these. I'll open one of these with a little gear and like one of these just so we can kind of get an idea of what we're looking at. All right, so here we go. Oh, these are different skills or something like that. Kind of flip through. Well, maybe I will open another one because these are all... Oh, these are all objectives and ways that you can get bonuses when you complete those. So mostly just text on these. Let me pull out a different one so we can kind of get a little more of an idea of what we're looking at here. There we go. I'll open this one up. This looks like it's got some other stuff. Yes, this is gear from the peddler. All right, and just kind of look through some of this here. And you can kind of get an idea, you know, of the vibe of the game. Finicky grenade, butterfly nectar, 5-foot flintlock, and so on and so on. And obviously, this is how you're going to be kind of buffing up your characters and making them a little bit more unique as you're building them throughout the game. Okay, here we have some town events. And kind of just flipping through, and you can see it's got a little bit of art on the ones that have the space, and just kind of tells you what's going on. And some of these town events are specific to specific characters, and some of them are not. There we go. There's some town events, and let me go ahead and dig out a bad guy deck just so we can see that too. And so here we have at least Will Barlow, so we'll check that out. All right, here we are. I'll just pull out. Here we go. So here's Will Barlow's, and this just shows you what the bad guy cards look like. I just tell you exactly what happens on them. And I'll say these are smooth cards, not linen finish, but they are a pretty good thickness there. And it's not ones that feel like I'm going to need to sleeve them or that they might get damaged too easily. But I'll just flip through some more of these here just so you can get an idea. Again, these are just the various boss cards and what they might look like. But so there you have it, folks. That is Townsfolk Tussle, the innards of it. This was one that I really enjoyed. And gosh, the art on this thing is just gorgeous. The sides of the box, all the care that they put into this really is exceptional. And you can go back and check out my preview video just to get my basic thoughts on the game. I'm certain that the game has changed a little bit since then, but this should give you a good idea. So there you have it, folks. That is the innards of Townsfolk Tussle. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.